matter how big you get, you'll always be my little girl. You're gonna be something special someday. You'll see.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doomsday Report. Now, on this week's episode, we have, all the way from Whittingham Asylum, the Nut House for the Criminally Insane, Ward 16.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Actually, it's pronounced Ward XV1.
Don't you dare!
That is actually one thing that I want to speak to you about. I noticed on April Fool's Day, you guys changed your name from Ward 16 to Ward 16. Well, what was all that about?
Well, originally when the band was named, they came up with the concept of Ward 16. They tried to be a little bit clever and put it in numerals, thinking that it'd be,
thinking that
be
everyone
catchy.
else might be clever enough to get it.
But we've been told so many different things over the last few years that even after we'd did that April Fool and then we said we are called Ward 16, people going, really? We thought it was Ward XVI.
Yeah.
And so over the years, either by some big festivals and gigs and stations and whatever, we've been mispronounced so many times.
Really?
XV1, XIV1, X16.
Even
whatever.
Alexa doesn't know Ward
Yeah,
16.
yeah.
Really? So you need to get that trained into her, like.
Yeah, so we did it as a bit of a blag, really, because we know that, I don't know, it was a little double-edged sword, because we know that we have a little bit of difficulty by the way that we look sometimes to get into a little bit of the more mainstream kind of music, because I don't know, we do something a little bit different, so we thought we'd look like we sold out.
Become the jeans and t-shirt.
It'd be nice to be just in jeans and t-shirt and just turn up for a gig instead of taking 3 hours to settle.
Well, I've got
It's not what we
mean,
do. It's not what
the look is something very memorable. It sticks you out from the rest of the pack, as it were.
Yeah, it's taken a while to get like this, to be honest.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
at the beginning we just
Feels great when you're standing in gents' toilets all around. Putting makeup on, so yeah.
This isn't when he's at a gig. That's just
That's just what it was.
That's so when I'm out with a band, it just feels great.
Now, where did the idea for the criminally insane persona come from?
We started writing the first album, and actually the whole asylum thing came into it quite late in the writing process. 'Cause
Right.
what it was is I had an idea that I wanted to write a story about a female serial killer and tell the story throughout her life. And it wasn't until we started writing the song Ward 16, I think, that we thought, actually, why don't we start telling this tale as if she's been interviewed and she's in an asylum and she can go back into her past.
So Ward 16, the name Ward 16 was originally a song then?
yes.
Yes.
It's the final song of the first album.
Right. Now, see, this is the second of 3 planned albums, is that correct? Now, how does Metamorphosis feel in comparison to The Art of Manipulation? Is it a fresher feel, because obviously that was the first one and this is a newer one?
We played the first one for a long time, didn't we? Before we even recorded the album, we played it for 4 years.
Yeah, something like that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely refreshing to have a new album, and it was a lot. The writing process was a lot different to the first album. The first album, we were a new band. I met up with a few people I met on Join My Band, and it took a while to get a steady lineup for it. And we were just jamming ideas and things. So I'd have ideas for concepts, but I was trying to ram them into songs that didn't necessarily fit as in the mood and things like that. But everyone was like, "No, we want to do this. We want to do this. We want to do this. We want to do this."
I have to state that none of
So
us were in the band at that
We're all good and supportive.
I'm
don't
both these yes men in.
That's actually one thing I wanted to ask you is, how did you guys all meet? How do you all know each other beside the band? Was your friends before the band, or was
We're not friends now. What are you talking about?
I
The
auditioned
police
them all.
brought us together.
To be in my life, you have to have an audition.
Yeah, I mean, I
Wow.
Now, don't you all feel special?
yes. Well,
His audition was a 14-day tour with Doyle.
yeah, that was like the first time I'd ever played live as well, and I was quite new to the instrument.
And we didn't tell him he was in the band until the last day of the tour. And we said, "This tour is your audition."
Yeah.
Now, see, with this Metamorphosis tour, how has it been going? Because these are the final few dates.
It's been really good, to be honest. It's been really good. It's been really good to be out because I think, during, I don't know if you know, there's been a little bit of an issue in regards to COVID and stuff.
I heard something about
But
that.
it's been, so it's been really good and refreshing. Obviously, the album's almost 2 years old now, so it's quite old from a perspective. And so we recorded it almost 3 years ago, so it does feel quite old, but new in a different way. We're developing, although we wrote it and obviously recorded it, to actually gig it is a whole different thing, and you learn the song in a completely different way.
Yeah.
In terms of, I don't know, you ad-lib a bit and you develop it a little bit more. So it feels great. People have been really good and really, really supportive. It's been amazing to be out doing it. And
that's been really, really positive responses.
And this has been really.
It's been really good. I think especially from a point of view as something that is like this. It's quite different to a lot of other bands. So getting support for something that is really
niche.
Niche and new. It really means a lot because it means people are willing to step out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, I think the first few dates were quite fraught because when you tour with such a big kind of production in terms of all the props and things like that, the bigger bands anyway spec it out to make sure that if they only do the venues that actually fit the specs of what they want, and so they can deliver, they can do it fully. But we're going to places where we haven't seen before until we actually arrive there. So the actual show itself is to the scale of the Sophie stage at Bloodstock, and what we're having to do every gig is go to the venue at that time and actually go, okay, how are we going to actually fit it here, and where are we going to put it, and how are we going to deliver it, and where the costumes and the characters going to go, and
so to make the whole venue our stage. Most of the gigs pretty much we've had actors coming from the back, from
behind the bar pulling pints.
I actually really like that. That's like an important piece of crowd interaction in live music. I wanted to speak to you guys about your Bloodstock appearance. Now, I have never ever in my life seen entrails ripped from a body on the stage.
That's the old one. That's
2017.
Where did that idea come from?
That came just before Bloodstock. I said we're doing Bloodstock. I said we need to do I'd always wanted to do this theatrical thing, and there was always this half the band didn't want to do it and half the band did want to do it. So I think when we got to that point, I said we're on a bigger stage now, wanting to push to do something.
Step it up that level.
Yeah, so we actually did. I think we did it the first time at Bloodstock, didn't we? I remember because I had the dummy, and he had just white, foam inside him or whatever.
I was watching you put that on the intestines.
White foam. We need to rethink this a little bit.
But that was during the time where we were still evolving in terms of the.
It was the first big show.
That was the first big show that we did, and I think it was because it's 2017. We just released the first album, and the group itself was kind of split between the people that wanted to be doing theatrics and the people that didn't. And it was like the Rubicon Cross at that gig where actually we realised that there was individuals in the band that didn't want to keep going. They saw that was what their plateau was, or their peak. Where we saw it as we need to go. This is what we can do and bigger. So when we came home from it, it was like we need to scale up. There's a few people that left after that, and then we scaled up and we stopped compromising.
Wasn't much use with his feet anyway.
We need an 8-foot puppet.
See, I definitely like the visual aspect. Now, I was speaking to you about this before the interview started, and I like how you guys are telling a story. It's not just song after song after song. It's like a visual performance that draws the crowd in. Now that's one thing that I really like about you guys, and I'll be honest, I actually thought you guys were American first when I was.
Some people-
Because when I do my
I mean, we
sound
can be if you want us to. We can be American if you want us to.
I'll tell you what that is, and that's through Sarah Jacobs from
Yeah,
Sarah's
yeah.
Diary of Metal. She was constantly plugging you guys
Yeah,
like
she's-
all over
she's
Facebook,
been
and
amazing.
it's like, well, check these guys out then.
Yeah.
So obviously I liked what I heard, and I just thought you was like an American band, and because she's like over in the States. So shout out to Sarah Jacobs and
thanks
check
for
out
your
support.
check out
Hello,
Sarah's Diary
America.
of Metal.
No, she's been, you know,
Oh yeah.
there's certain people online that you see as someone that you need to talk to. So she was certainly someone that we started to network with, and she's been really supportive, you know, all the time.
I was a bit worried that she makes a better psycho berry.
Yes.
I know.
we didn't want to be the ones to say. I mean, like.
Now, you've played some pretty memorable gigs, you know, lineups such as, well, Venom Inc., Napalm Death, Blaze Bailey, and Cradle of Filth. What have been some gigs that really stick in your mind? It doesn't necessarily have to be like the biggest crowd, you know, it can just be like small, intimate with a rowdy mob, or, you know, what ones stick in your mind?
I want to go with we did the Griffin on this tour.
Yeah, it was like, who's going to be the one to say the Griffin?
We all thought this.
now.
Yeah,
We all
well,
thought this is the one show that isn't going to work at all because
Yeah.
the stage was a corner. It was like
Like the
venue's
stage
like
was
this.
literally
It
probably
it's
it
really-
was there to
The
there. It's
maximum,
like a
like-
third of this.
It was
So
snug.
tiny.
We got
It
very
was-
comfortable.
And they told us it was sold out, so we knew that the people were going to be
tight.
crammed in and we weren't
Yeah.
going to be able to move. So we thought this gig is not going to work at all, but it turned out to be like we had these two going through to the back through this dense crowd, but coming back through with all the different outfits on and stuff, and it was such an immersive experience where every part of the audience was actually part of the stage show because it was all just us in a room together.
So it was really
It was more like a horror
Yeah,
attraction
it was.
than
It was.
than a gig.
There's
wasn't it?
probably a lot of
Yeah.
pregnancies happening that night.
What have been your favourite cities to visit?
Well,
In general, not necessarily on this tour, but just playing in
I
general.
love. Well, I don't want to say just because we're here, but I love Scotland. We've done really
Yeah.
well in the past year, and Edinburgh, where
Looking
we've
forward
been
to
in-
it tomorrow.
Yeah, we were here a few years ago with Red Rum, and then we were down the road in the cat house with Doyle,
Yeah.
and you guys seem to get it. Some, you know, you go to some towns and cities and you don't necessarily get not the music, but you get the vibe. And
Yeah,
you get, there's I'm obviously with my accent, I'm Liverpudlian stroke Merseyside, and there's a similar kind of vibe in terms of it's a very working class city. But it's
Yeah.
based upon football, comedy, and music, and that's what your culture is. And you guys really get it. And Scott, I think Scotland, you know, we had to really. Edinburgh's a little bit different in terms of the vibe.
Might as well all
but,
go over to Newcastle.
but yeah, I love coming to Scotland.
It's just
Manchester-
There's that, but there's also like almost like the willingness to, when we've said, you know, we know we're a bit different, there's almost like a willingness to accept something
But
that's
then
a bit
again, we could go
Yeah.
upstairs tonight. It's going to be dead. So you know.
No, we're never coming back again.
They don't get it.
I hear no voice, I feel no touch, I see no glory bright. But yet I know that God is near, in the darkness has a light. He watches ever by my side, and gives me wisdom when I whisper prayer. The Father for his little child, both night and day does care.
Now, see with yous playing like obviously indoor venues and festivals as well. What's the feeling like going from one to the other?
I think sometimes with festivals it can be a lot harder because we've got to condense our set into half an hour when we're trying to get across a
You
concept.
trying to tell a story.
And so you're having to cut a lot of the story out, and it's really hard to get it to flow and make sense when you can't put things like the interlude. You have to literally cut the interlude.
It's almost like a trailer to the story.
Yeah. So in that respect, it's worse because people aren't as like when we play the full show, people are like, whoa, kind of thing when we watch it. When we watch the short version, like everyone's still enjoying it. But
in the same
like a
way,
teaser.
you do sometimes
The
get.
amount of people that have seen us at festivals and then they've seen that we're touring, and they're like,
Yeah, but
I want to see the full thing.
It's like the Diet Coke version.
Well, it is. But the thing is, but you think there's a couple. You get a bigger crowd, obviously, at the festivals, and you get a lot more transient people that dip in and dip out, and you've got to really try hard to grab people's attention because there's so much happening, and the scale of it, on one hand, is really good, but then you've got no control over anything. You don't get a sound check. You've got 15 minutes to get your gear on. And then on and then off. Whereas when you're playing things like this, although the scale's a lot smaller, you've got control, and you've got to compromise a little bit in regards to how you do things and the space that you use. But
he
it's
sounds really good. So.
That's what he's gearing up to.
No, it's to a certain point, it's under your control. I think the scary thing with things like this is really our first headline tour. In terms of we've done like a small headline tour in the past, but it was free entry and things like that. This is our first ticket sale tour, so it's really nervous for us because it's there's a lot of pressure on us.
I think that's what was nice about at the very start of the tour. We got some good, like, quite energetic, quite full go crowd. So it gave us that. If like the first couple of audiences had been kind of flat, there'd probably been a lot more panic. Like, oh god, what have we made a massive mistake here? But the first few shows had so much.
Yeah, I'm just like that all the time, to be honest. You lot are just relaxed. I'm going, oh my god, damn it,
You need. I'm just chill. Everything's fine.
This one's stressing me out more. And the others we've sold the tickets ourselves to quite a lot of the venues. So he's been doing stuff online, and I've also been just running, not spending a lot of money, but running Facebook ads, and you can watch the ticket sales to see if what you're doing is right. But with this one, we can't see the ticket sales, so we're just hammering it on social, and we don't know if it's worked or if it hasn't worked.
So you've had pretty good turnouts at all venues, yeah?
Yeah, we're not like Wembley, but it's
It was a year or two.
For a band like us, it's even if there's 15 to 20, which there hasn't, there's been like 70, 80, 90, 100 or whatever.
That's a
it's been really good, and
there's a few we've played that have been
a bit smaller,
quieter,
quiet,
but
the crowd have been really good.
bad
The crowd
anyway,
are really energetic, and you have a bit more room in the crowd to then have the actors go out and.
There's been somewhere we've looked at the ticket sales and we've said, oh my god, no one's coming to this, and they've all paid on the door, and it's been packed.
That's one thing with Glasgow. You do get a lot of people paying on the door.
We're just really lucky. No, like even if touch wood that there's more than 10 people here tonight. But even if there are 10 people here tonight, that's 10 people that have paid.
And
and it's and it sounds corny, but everyone's broke. And it's a nightmare at the moment, and everyone's still a little bit nervous about COVID and stuff like that. But it's still 10 people that have chosen to spend the money to come see us, and then we don't compromise our show. We don't dumb it down. We don't go half-assed. It's full on. We do everything we can.
I mean, 10 people, 10,000 people, it's the same show. Same energy.
I don't think.
If there was 10 people, you and I would just terrify me even more because we could actually give them one-on-one treatment.
We've got it in our systems to dial it in. It's like when you start playing, your brain just starts going.
That's why we invite all the press here, so it makes it look like there's
none of them have been audience, it's just been press.
Now, see, with regards to touring, have you guys got any funny or embarrassing tour stories? The more embarrassing, the better.
He's broken doors.
I knocked him out with his own girlfriend.
That's my favourite.
He used me as a weapon.
I used her as a weapon and knocked him out.
Don't elaborate. Just leave it as that. That's it. No more.
All right. Well, what's this story about then?
I got chased by a naked man.
You did have a go about that.
The guy was windmilling with his cock out.
Oh wow!
He was chasing Kerry, and Kerry went, "Show him!" And I'm like, "Oh!"
He's just turned on. It was like a bloodhound. Just went, "You want some?"
We were in Coventry, and this guy just started. He said to the bar guy, he was like, something like, "If I buy some nuts, can I get my nuts out?" And he was like, "You want to get your peanuts out?" And he's like, "If I buy some nuts, can I get my nuts out?" This guy sold him some nuts, and next minute he just starts rubbing up and down this guy. But this guy was his friend, anyway, so it wasn't quite as weird, but still pretty weird.
If it's friends, it's fine. That's just chill.
I saw this guy outside, and he starts talking to me, and I said, "You're not going to get that out again, are you?" He said, "No." He said, "Do you want me to?" I said, "No," but he does. And the next minute, he just starts legging it after him with his cock out.
I'll never move so quick.
It's just bully bam bam. That's just
Only in Coventry.
That's why they're all sent there.
We just want to say we love people from Coventry. The statements made by Dr. von Stottenstein do not represent the opinions of Ward 16. Any resemblance to any other insults on
Coventry
Coventry.
people, keep your penises in your pants.
Oh dear. Oh, well, my brother-in-law goes down to the racing at Coventry all the time.
I was going to say, finish that sentence very carefully. My brother goes down to, and he just gets his dick out.
Now, what are the plans for after the tour and going forward for the rest of the year?
Big nap.
We've got festivals, haven't we?
We've got a few festivals. A couple of them are still to be announced.
Can you announce them here, or is that pure time limit?
Playing back
But they will be I think they are going to be announced soonish, and one big hint is that we will be coming up here again. Jordan.
1 month.
You
You see where my mind's going?
I'd like to say it's when it's really cold, but Scotland.
So that'll be the winner.
The statement made by Dr. von Stottenstein does not represent our opinion of the weather of Scotland.
I mean, we usually get our summer on a Wednesday.
No, this one's Saturday.
Drink coffee on my throat.
Oh dear, sorry about that.
You've ruined his makeup now.
It's a mess.
We've got obviously we're going to finish this. Then we've got a couple of festivals to come. Then we've got our first hometown gig in Preston for like 4 years. We haven't played there for
That'll be a good one then.
age. So it's going to be really good at Halloween as well. And then, but we've started to put some demos together for the third album.
Mm-hmm.
So the ambition will be early next year, or end of this year, early next year, to start really concentrating on getting the third album recorded.
Right, and will that be following the story of Psycho Gary?
It'll be the third instalment of the trilogy.
It's the underwater version.
It is.
Right.
Basically, she falls in love with the man who lives on the land with legs, and the sea witch takes her voice away, and she has to spend.
I mean, you're saying this, but I'm actually on board. Can I have like barnacles on my neck?
It's Ward 16 on the Love Boat.
Now you've got a few singles up on Spotify, haven't you? What other releases do you have on YouTube, video-wise?
All of them.
They're all up on.
Yeah, we've got. What we've tried to do, especially with the new album anyway, is to have the storyline, the concept running through the singles. So we've got 4 singles from this album, and we've got all the singles from the first album on YouTube as well. We've got the first 2 albums on Spotify as well. So it took us a while to get on Spotify because we like to try to.
Fuck Spotify.
The statement out. Run that guy into the ground now.
Now, what merchandise have you got? Obviously,
we've got t-shirts, we've got hats, we've got
Patches.
We did have straight jackets, but we sold out.
So that'd be cool.
We used to have, when you first saw us at Bloodstock, and she was killing the dummy.
She's doing what?
The dummy.
What's she doing?
we sold aprons for a while as a quality
like
that.
calling it dummy.
But yeah, we've got loads of stuff.
And that's all on, like, available on.
Yeah, we have it on Bandcamp, so we have it on ward16.bandcamp. I mean,
Ward
we do a lot
XVI.
of Ward XVI. Yeah, but we do a lot of. I do a lot of interaction through Bandcamp as well, so
Yeah.
talking and chatting with people because it is actually a good social networking site as well, you know, and a good way to communicate with people. And
Yeah.
people can listen to your music for free, and if they want to buy it, then you can buy it. You know, so it's
Please do.
I like it.
We
Please buy
appreciate
it.
that. Please buy it.
All musicians need help.
Yeah, and I would really like to say a massive thank you to Spotify, because with all the thousands of streams that we've had for all of our songs, we have actually made £6, so we all.
What? You've made that much? I've never heard of a band making that much.
Well, you know, money bags over here.
So
I think
thank
you're doing
you.
some more points in the wrong place.
I've spent it already in my head.
I'm sure Iron Maiden probably at around the £6 mark.
Awesome. Right, well, I see time's running a bit short for us. There's one last thing I like to do at the end of the interviews, and that's I want to get the bands to shout out to any people watching this who's never seen you before, why they should come and see you live, and why they should buy your merchandise. Put you on the spot.
We have a fun
Blood,
we're not gonna
guns,
live.
gore, murder.
All things nice.
Exactly.
Who doesn't
Crazy
love a murder
things.
between friends?
Running around, just.
I think if you've got an opportunity to see this tour, like we've only got a few dates left of this tour, but we're probably not going to do it again unless some crazy opportunity came up where we could do all three or something. So
Yeah, that would be
snippets
good.
of
That's
an album
awesome.
from this point.
I'm already placing groundwork
And
and
it's had,
plans for that.
it's had some ridiculously good reviews of it.
So, and like I have to give a shout out to you because
because
you
you have
gave
a nice
us one
beard. Sorry.
well, it's really it is. You're right. It is probably these shows are going to be the last times that we actually do the Metamorphosis album
Really?
as a full.
Yeah.
Because the next time it will be the next album.
Yeah.
So
Under the
come and
sea.
see us if you don't like us. Don't like us. If you do like us, give us a share. You don't necessarily need to buy any merch or anything like that. Because
It's nice of you.
if you
Buy the merch. Buy the merch.
buy the
Part with the
merch.
pennies.
If you want to buy the merch, buy the merch. But what's more as important is sharing and listening to music, giving us a like, giving us a shout out to people that you think might like the music, or with our support like Splintered Halo and Death and Gloria, give them a listen because we're trying to do something a little bit different, and it's difficult to stick your head above the parapet and not do something that everybody else is doing. And it's a big risk because you know it's easy to just do the same as everybody else and have the same jeans and the same cut t-shirt and do the same free chords and get a decent following. And there's a few bands out there trying to do something a little bit different, and hopefully we're one of them.
Oh, well, I like the way you guys
There's your
go
selling
about
point.
business.
But
It's something
and
that's
we're
different.
different. We're very passionate about what we do. We're very progressive in what we do. We look to learn and develop and evolve every time that we play. And we also are very passionate in making sure that the people that come and follow us and watch us and join us are as involved and collaborative. It's as collaborative as possible. We don't like to be hidden away. We're music lovers. We like to be part of a community, and it's very much part of who we are to be part of.
Yeah,
Well said.
Correct.
That was a good answer.
The scene and the venues have suffered so long over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you don't buy stuff, buy tickets, go and see your local small bands and whatever. Give them a shout out because really is the shout out of a local band to people out on YouTube or whatever or Facebook, and is massive for people like us. And even like people on Twitter going, this band was really good where we played. That's incredible. That's more than just buying one t-shirt. That's
Word of mouth goes far.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just, and that's how we've
Yeah.
had to do it over the last 10 years, whatever. It's just word by mouth and just really, really pressing, and that's all we can hope for. If we turn that one person into not liking us, into liking us, that's just amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking your time out to speak with me, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
Well, what can I say? I've been Esteban. This has been Ward XVI. And this has been the Doomsday Report. Keep it metal.